Alright everybody, it's Prepared Militant Chef. Today we're talking about operational security, opsec. If you are going to talk opsec, you have to also talk intelligence, because opsec is operational security is combating other people's intelligence networks, right? So you have OSINT, OSINT is open source intelligence. So open source intelligence would be, what size engine does a Ford Ranger have, right? Google, what size engine does a Ford Ranger have? And I have no idea. But it's open source intelligence, it's OSINT. And so you can find out just like that. Human intelligence would be snitches, they would be informants, they would be gossipers, they would be your aunt who knows way too much about, funny story, going to Afghanistan, and multiple people caused us to take it to a secondary route, including this guy, because multiple people had great aunts, right here, who told the church that they were attending to pray for us, which is cool. But those particular churches had digital prayer guide things, prayer list, and thanks, Aunt F. You kind of got me yelled at over that one. And so, let's talk about that, because that's a really good example. I wasn't like, hey, Aunt F and Uncle C, this is where I'm going. This is my unit. It was more like they knew that I had enlisted, and they knew that I was going to, I was in this particular unit because we were close, and then my grandparent, that was one of their siblings, told them when I was leaving. And they were told that. My grandparent was told that by my parent that was their offspring. Right? And so OPSEC, you have no idea, in what I just said, what side of the family it was. And was it like this grandfather's sister, or this grandmother's sister, or this grandfather's brother? You have no idea. You can't figure that out. Because what I've done is sterilize it. I've sterilized the story. And now you have no idea whether that story is true. So let's play a game. Let's look at my background. We got a refrigerator. We got a thing from my church. I don't know if you can tell, but this is a Harry Potter magnet. This is a Les Miserables. I don't know. There's a clock that hasn't worked in 1.5 million years that has some lavender on it. Let's play a game. Looking at this, what is my last name? Where do I work? Where does my wife work? Name a hobby. Name an interest. Alright, so I kept going. Because, from this, because I've done what's called sanitize, I've made sure that this isn't, an issue. Alright, if you have really good resolution, you'll know one thing. Somebody that lives here is a Regency era fan of writing, right? So, Jane Austen would be a really good example of that. But what is like, I've sterilized this, right? So you don't know my last name. You have no idea where I work. You have no idea what, like, you know what I do for a living because it's in the name of my channel. But you don't know where I work. You don't know what my wife does. You don't know where she works. If you want to begin surveilling us from this, you have nothing. And that's what we want. We want operational security. So from this video, I don't have to worry about, and I wear this because I don't need somebody going into Google and putting like my work ID in there. Being like, oh, he has a YouTube. So I put this on, and all of a sudden I'm semi-Google proof. Alright, so another case of opsec. Be really careful what you say. And be really careful of who you listen to. So 2.5, 3 years ago, I want to say 2 FBI SWAT teams went into 2 different houses in Michigan simultaneously, and they arrested 2 people. And this is really interesting because they arrested 2 people in a plot of 5 people that were going to kidnap and kill the governor of Michigan. Well, 2 is smaller than 5. And if memory serves me correctly, there was one federal agent, one FBI special agent, and 2 informants. What I'm really interested in is if the informant knew that there were other informants, and if was the informant like, dude, this guy's crazy. How does he get C4? And the Fed was the one given the C4 or whatever it was. I don't really remember, but it's a good example, right? Because they talk too much, and so if somebody comes to you and goes, "Hey, you want to catch chicken factories and on fire and derail a train?" Here's what you do. Pro tip. Because we troll people on this channel. We put both hands in the pockets because the feds hate that. And we can still walk, but we're going to waddle. We're going to waddle and we're going to go away. Because that person is one of 2 things. A psycho, crazy person. I was going to say, or a fed. But they are the same. So operational security, you need to be careful who you talk to. You need to be careful who you listen to. Because not only could they be setting you up to get arrested, they could be feeding you bad intel. So we're 90 days after the collapse. Whatever the collapse looks like. I don't care. And a super hot woman comes up to you and she is showered and she opens her legs and she starts talking about this camp 2 miles down the road or 10 miles down the road, and yeah, she could be lying to you, and she's probably lying to you, and she probably works for them. Unless you're Ashton Kutcher, and I guess that just happens. But operational security, you need to be careful what you say. You need to be careful who you listen to. If things seem weird, just run away. Like this or like this. Run away. Just run. Leave. Go. Anything you say on the interwebs, anything you say with a digital marker, anything you say with a digital marker is 100% tracked and stored. So this YouTube is linked to a Proton. Proton's encrypted email. The Proton has a fake name on it. The feds know who I am because I'm using this device, whatever that device is, it doesn't matter, but I'm using this device, and this device has sent emails through another email that's legit, and I've done taxes on it, and I've um, emailed people about jobs and this and that, and I've used my full name so many times that I have no idea what that number is or how many digits in that number. Uh, so the feds know who I am. And so if I put something about wanting to hurt a government official, all of a sudden, and like this video may trigger it, right? Because of the algorithms, but all of a sudden, somebody's gonna start monitoring me and they're gonna figure out what's going on. Or they're at least going to attempt to, right? So you gotta kinda act like you're constantly being monitored. Um, and you kinda gotta act like most people are out to get you. So I'm stopping and I'm thinking because I've sanitized everything and I don't want to shoot this video over again because if I give out too much information, I delete the video so that it never gets uploaded, even though it's already on a hard drive and yada yada yada, blah blah blah. But I'm thinking through what I'm saying here, and if you're an organizational leader, there's a bunch of things you need to do and don't do. And if you're vetting somebody to join your group, you probably want to meet them in person. And you probably want to meet them in person and not their backyard. You don't want to let them resource dump you. You want to see if you can get them to drive an hour, 2 hours, 10 hours, whatever. Um, but you also don't want to meet them in the same place at the same time, in the same time of the month. So, like, the first Saturday of the month at 8 o'clock at your local Waffle House is a really bad way to meet people because it's really easy to start being monitored. And if you do that, you need to send different people every time. Or on a random cycle, right? So you need to have like a list of 10 groups of people that can go, and you just pull out of the hat, right? That sort of thing. But you need to be careful what you say. You need to be careful who you talk to, especially especially after events, right? So there was Trey, the individual that was killed in Memphis by the cops that appear to be gang members, that he was also sleeping with his wife or ex-wife or ex-girlfriend or something. I don't know. If you live in an area and there is a nationally recognized police incident where somebody dies and it's not the cop, you digitally announcing that you're going to the protest is really dumb. Regardless of why you're going, you could be going to pull security for your local gas station. Those meetings need to happen in person. Those meetings should preferably happen without cell phones present. But if you go on Facebook and you create a Riot in Memphis 2023 chat, You're you're really dumb. You need to be careful what you say. You need to be careful who you talk to. You need to be careful what you show. Um, so when you meet somebody that you're not aware of, me and you meet. Hey, you got guns? You're asking me, do you have guns? I got some stuff. What do you have? Stuff? You like 5.56? Yeah. 7.62? Yeah. So you have AKs and AR-15s? I didn't say that. I like the numbers. Numbers are fun. I like math. Did you know that a teaspoon times 3 is a tablespoon, times 4 is a quarter cup, times 4 is a cup, times 4 is a quart, times 4 is a gallon, times 5 is a jug? A jug is 5 gallons? And I don't know how many teaspoons that is, but we can do the math. I've said that to somebody that gave me Fed fives. And then I walked away with my hands in my pockets. But I don't want to ramble on this one. But you need to be careful what you say. You also need to be careful what you do. So, is everyone aware that... I'm not blaming him, right? The law's stupid. But Ruby Ridge happened because an individual cut, was it 1 3/4 inch too much of 1 3/4 inch too long or too much of a shotgun barrel off of a shotgun, and all of a sudden it became an illegal weapon because of the nonsense laws. So if somebody's like, hey man, I have C4, hands, pockets, walk away. Hey, I really want to kill the governor of, walk away. Um, so, and I'll say this, I'm probably going to be meeting some people that I don't know. And when they ask me my name, I like to give them a fake name. Now, I am who I am, so it's going to be like, my name's Ashton Kutcher. My name's, what's the radio show guy? The Roy D. Mercer. My name is Roy D. Mercer. I'm going to start using that one. Um, but unless it's your wife or your kinfolk, you don't you don't necessarily need to be completely honest with them. I'm not saying lie, but I'm saying don't give all your cards out. And on that note, prodigious amount of baking supplies, because I do. I have a prodigious amount of kitchen knives. Um, I have a prodigious amount of various things like coffee. My wife knows that we have, I think, 30 pounds of coffee in the house most of the time. She knows that there's more coffee elsewhere, but she doesn't know how much, she doesn't know where, she doesn't know what brand, she doesn't know what key to use. Um, my wife is also aware that there's what appears to be a second set of keys stashed somewhere in the house, and some of the keys on my main keychain don't work, but the other keychain, it doesn't unlock the house or open any of the cars, right? So, like, she's not aware of exactly what's going on. She can probably figure it out. You can probably figure it out to an extent, but you also don't know where I live. You also don't know my last name. You don't know where my wife works. You don't know what I do or where I work. You know where I do, but whatever. Um, Guys, there's a January 6th committee that's been going on for a year now. Um, Minneapolis was turned into ashes. And I don't think a lot of people were arrested. Meanwhile, a couple hundred people put their dirty shoes on Nancy Pelosi's desk, and they're doing 25 years. Somebody wrote Chuck Schumer, like somebody drew Chuck Schumer. Look this up. They drew Chuck Schumer up like a really just not artistically good drawing of a penis. And they were offered 50 years. Targeted? Please start acting like it. Alright, like, comment, share, subscribe. This is Prepared Militant Chef. Be careful what you say. Be careful what you show. Be careful how you act. Be careful about your body language. Oh my goodness, I showed you my nose. You can now figure out who I am. If you can, that would be a weird. That would also be super cool. And if you know who I am, email me at Prepared Militant Chef. When I make hats, I'll send you a hat. As long as you keep your mouth shut. Don't draw patterns, right? Don't do the same thing all the time in the same way, unless you have to. Have a plan that only the people that need to know what to do after certain events. My mom knows that if something were to happen and I had to, my job is very particularly placed. Like, I work at that place because if I have to hoof home, I'll pass my wife's work and I can go get her and we can hoof home together. My mom is aware that we have 5 routes, but she's not aware of what those routes are. For a reason. If somebody tortures my mom, she's not going to tell them what she doesn't know. And you're like, that's dark. Opsec, bro. Something seems too good to be true, it probably is. Be careful what you say, be careful who you talk to, be careful what you do with them. If they seem fetty, they are fetty. If they seem druggy, they're probably druggy and fetty. And drugs and guns and drugs and alcohol and I'm gonna say drugs and alcohol don't mix, but I think they do. Alcohol and guns don't mix anyways, so just stay away from that stuff just to be smart. But you need to start being really cognizant about opsec, because as things get worse, like, okay, give you a really good example, and then I'll let you go. There's been a bunch of train derailments, right? And I'm on a chat, and people are sending links of like Amazon purchasable. Like, you can go on Amazon and purchase a train derailer. I don't know if they work, but why are you Googling that? And why is everybody clicking on that Amazon ad, right? Like, you're going on a list. So just be aware of those things. Be opsec-y. And start developing your lines of intelligence to combat other people's opsec. Out.